Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
I'm James Spann. This is the morning edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Monday, the 18th of July. Heat levels creeping up this week, not getting out of hand, but it will be definitely warmer. And this is summer, so there's the chance of a shower or storm around every day. Probably not as wet as last week, though. We'll go to some of the Skycam shots around the network at the ridiculous hour of 5 o'clock. We'll start from Tuscaloosa, top of the Tuscaloosa County Courthouse, looking to the east. I will be down there later today speaking to the Tuscaloosa Kiwanis Club. There's the Birmingham Skycam from the top of the Daniel building, looking back off to the east. And downtown Jasper from the King building up in Walker County. Ooh, boy, that's a nasty heat bubble over the nation's heartland up there. In fact, let's look at the analysis, and by golly, the 500 millibar heights are peaking at 6,000 meters over Omaha, Nebraska. That is about as high as they ever get. And they're awfully high over into Chicago and Milwaukee, and this is just going to be nasty hot underneath that. And down here, the heights are going up, but again, we got not as bad as that, and also we've got a lot of low-level moisture in the soil moisture, so we don't think the heat's going to run away from us because of all the good rain we had last week. Highs yesterday, they peaked again over Oklahoma and Texas, where they just can't buy a break out there. Look at Chicago. They're up in the mid-90s. Upper 90s up into South Dakota, and again today it's going to be awfully oppressive up there. And that's the big issue. It's the heat for the midsection. Now, other than that, we've got no issues around the nation. That's a watch warning map, not counting heat advisories, and about the only thing is a wind advisory for a couple of counties on the Arizona-California border, and that's it. Convective outlook today, slight risk over much of New England and parts of the Great Lakes, and also up in North Dakota. And tomorrow, pretty much the same deal. All of that on the periphery of the heat bubble, which is, again, centered over Omaha and Wichita and Kansas City and Oklahoma City, where they can't buy a drop of rain. This week, not as wet as last week. This is the projected rain through Friday evening at 7 o'clock, and this is showing amounts of about 1/2 inch over much of North Alabama. And, of course, the main story is out here in the tropics. Second tropical storm of the season is on the board, Brett. Other than that, now the Atlantic Basin is very quiet again. But there's a look at our tropical storm this morning. This thing is packing sustained winds of 50 miles an hour. It is not expected to become a hurricane, by the way. There's the modeling. I like that. You got one model takes it to the coast of Africa, and that's awesome. But other than that, you got good agreement. There's one outlier that brings it up into Georgia and North Alabama, but clearly the logic and all the models take it northeast, and there's the official track coming from the Hurricane Center. And again, they maintain this as a tropical storm passing between the Outer Banks and Bermuda late this week, and then ultimately getting hung up in the westerlies and being carried out to sea this weekend. So it should not be a problem for the United States, other than some rough surf on the Atlantic coast, and certainly no issue here. We'll check the GFS. This is the OZ run, valid at 7 o'clock this evening. Big old heat bubble northwest of here. And down below that, showers ought to be pretty widely separated today. We're thinking low 90s, around 92, which is at or just below average for this time of the year. Same thing tomorrow, maybe mid-90s. Wednesday, heights are down ever so slightly, and looks like there could be a little increase in convection on Wednesday. Still, just your scattered afternoon shower and storm type thing. Highs in the low to mid-90s, and the same thing on Thursday and Friday. Very typical midsummer weather. Check the weekend. Looks like the height levels are trying to come up just a little bit, but again, there's a lot of moisture trapped underneath that, so there's nothing to suggest anything out of the ordinary. And you know the deal. Partly sunny, hot, humid, a chance of an afternoon storm in scattered spots. And we're just going to have a hard time getting past the mid-90s because of the very deep low-level moisture, the good soil moisture. That just helps. Of course, as humid as could be, but that'll keep the heat in check. There's Sunday and a week from today. the core of the heat begins to shift off to the west. We got a northwest flow aloft, and that opens the door for an increase in convection. So showers and storms could show a marked increase in about a week if this is right. Check the end of the forecast, August 2nd. Man, is this summer flying along. Pretty much the same deal. I mean, you've seen a lot of these maps that look the same. 594 ring is out west. We've got a light flow aloft and, enough moisture for a few scattered showers and storms. In other words, very typical summertime weather. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 3:30 or so today. And if you are local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.
Being Alabama's news leader means digging deeper to get you the facts, working harder so you have all sides of the story, and not being afraid to tell the truth. Every day you award us by making ABC 3340 Alabama's most watched news. And now the Associated Press has named us Alabama's most outstanding news operation. That's 9 times since 1996, more than all other stations combined. And that's 9 more reasons you should trust the news leader. ABC 3340.